Harvey Stevens from Cleveland, Ohio.
And what's this truck?
This is a vintage 1991 CLT-9000.
How long have you had it?
I purchased this truck in November of 2023. Mr. Harrell out of Indiana.
Yep, I've seen it at lots of local shows, and I knew it was for
That's
sale.
Mr. Harrell? You didn't tell me.
Hey, I didn't know you were here.
You didn't tell me Mr. Harrell was
Oh my
here.
goodness.
I talked to Mr. Harrell on the phone.
I'm keeping it on.
How this truck became to be where it is now.
And you just happened to be here today.
Right.
A friend of mine here, he's in Pennsylvania, so we met, picked Phil up, and I didn't know for sure he was going to be here, you know.
Yeah.
And
I had it at the Piston Power Show back in April.
how to drive for you.
Oh, nice. Well, we've been having some issues with the air ride.
You will. Now, there's a
valve
in there. You can't put over 100 pounds.
I'm sneaking this on your pocket.
Oh.
Just in case you say anything important. What year is the truck?
91.
91.
Yeah.
And when did you get it?
I bought it out of north of Madison, Wisconsin. Yeah, it's been about 13 years ago because it took a year and a half to rebuild it. Because like I said, everything was rebuilt on that thing. And actually, the suspension and rear ends come out of a Freightliner.
Right.
It had the right gear ratio in it. Of course, I had both pigs rebuilt, 411.
And Mr. Harrell had super singles on it.
Yeah.
I remember
You
that.
told me that was the first thing you told.
I took the super singles on.
You know, that bothered me after we, hung up.
Right. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
But now that you see it in person, it was like,
Yeah.
they look pretty good, huh?
Was the studs long enough to put they were, okay.
Yes, sir.
Because see, I cut them off to fit the super singles. But I always try to leave 3 or 4 threads sticking out beyond the nut.
Well, I couldn't put 2 aluminums on, so I got steel on the inside.
Oh, you did?
And aluminum on the outside. It gave me just enough.
Well, that added weight.
Well, yeah. That's what I told everybody.
Yeah.
And when I questioned you about the exhaust, I got the bracket for the dual exhaust.
Uh-huh.
So I'm going to put another pipe on there. You said that was 200 and some pounds that you could carry more freight with.
Yeah.
And I said, being a trucker, I understand the concept. So he didn't really need dual exhaust. It was just a preference.
Yeah. Well, about every fancy truck round, you got dual exhaust on.
Dual exhaust.
It kept you different, too.
Well, yeah. But they, like I told you, I think I did, that's 11-inch muffler.
Right.
It's not a 10.
It's not
11.
a 10.
And the cage around it sprung just enough that I put that cage on it.
And it looks nice.
Yeah.
So I got the wide pipe. I got a bracket.
Oh.
And I'm going to put another 11-inch muffler on there.
Okay. Well, at Pittsburgh Power, that's where I got it at, over there. Power.
Where you bought the muffler?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I can call them up and they can ship me one.
Yeah.
Where'd you get the shield at?
Just locally.
Okay.
See, it's just a standard shield like any of them to fit a 10-inch muffler, but it would give enough, and the holes were...
Oh, just to fit the 11.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I was concerned about that, and the guy said, no, just buy an ordinary shield.
Well, you couldn't have pulled up here at a better time.
Right.
What are the chances?
We were just talking about it. I said, I got to call Mr. Harrell up. And we had to have
I seen
a
you two
conversation.
standing here. I was getting ready to go, and I said, told her, yeah, I want to go buy the truck one more time.
People are going to think this was staged.
Yeah,
exactly. Oh, my God. Frank is going to have a fit.
Yeah. Well, better yet, we was driving around, and Phil says, stop. And one of his old trucks is here. What? Didn't even know it.
The Blue and White International.
Yeah, didn't even know it. So it made my day, and it made his day.
As a trucker, as a mechanic technician, I could truly say that would make my heart feel overjoyed to see that the old girl went to a nice home.
Yeah.
I mean, if you give things away to people and you don't know them like you really want to know them and how they would appreciate what you treasured for such a long period of time, if they have those same, what's the word I'm saying? Valued as the previous owner, then you say, well, you know what? I'm happy.
Yeah.
That makes me feel good that the truck.
6 months now, you retired it. It just got historic plates on it.
I got the historical plate sitting in there in the bag.
Well, then you seen what was behind that plate, a toe pin.
I took the plate. It cost me $55, and it's good for 25 years.
Yeah.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Man, I go back all of
right. 25 years historical
I
plate.
think the
If
last.
you get caught hauling with
Right, with a historical plate, right. We both done.
Yeah.
And I promised Mr. Harold in our first conversation that I promised him that I would take care of the truck.
Yeah.
I just told Red, never change the color. If I do some body work on it, it'll be the same thing, the same color.
Yeah. Well, you know, there's not, of course, there's hardly any Ford Cabos. But,
No.
even to see a green truck, period, you know.
Well, you know, it's an eye opener. It's a conversational piece. It's a grabber. Everybody that looks at that truck, going, where did you find that truck? I said, that was Mr. Harold's truck out of Indiana.
Albion, Indiana. We got
Yep.
one stoplight. But
Yep.
I'm going to ask you one favor. Will you get in and start it up?
Yeah. Starts right up every time. Every time. That's a garage queen there. Right.
So everything else we've said, what's the engine and transmission? Because I know everything else about the truck now.
Oh, well, the engine's a Detroit diesel. The horsepower is set at 500 horsepower. And the transmission is an Allison automatic double overdrive with 411 rear ends and low profile 22.5 tires.
It's an RDS. It's an RDS Allison 6-speed.
Yeah,
And man, does it fly.
yeah. Oh,
yeah, he told me that. It flies.
Did you ever get a speeding ticket?
Once, and it wasn't my fault. I was blowing airbags in the front. It seemed like it was always that side, and then it'd be in this side a couple of times. Running out of places to get them. The one I had, I bought two. I think they come out of Arizona. A friend of mine, he's on the computer. I don't do with that. But he said, Harold, he said, scrolling through, seen they had a lot of Ford parts. He's the one who put the engine in and rewired it and everything. I said, buy them. I don't care what they cost, just get them here. And in one of the boxes, it said, do not put more than 100 pounds of air. Now, I was running 120 to 100.
Right, I'm looking at the gauge. It goes well up over 125.
Yeah.
So you got a restrictor in there.
I got a restrictor. It's had a hard time convincing people, what I wanted to do with it. But it's adjustable. Some of them wanted to sell me, said at 75. It wouldn't go to 100, but it was too low.
Because sometimes it dips. When it dips hard,
The
bottoms.
I hope nobody's played with that valve.
No, we haven't done anything with the valve. So that's normal riding the way it rides.
Yeah. I've had to going down the road, people say, your cab's full.
Right, exactly, right.
Well, one time, excuse me, I can rattle on here, but
I need
That's
to.
why I put the
need
microphone to you.
Right.
I was coming back from Oregon. Something to do with the drive shaft. Anyway, it was getting late at night, Friday night. The guy said, no, you go down the road about 60 miles. I knew where it was at. He said that we're going to close and get to be after midnight and they close up. But he said, Freightliner down there, they stay open all night.
Mhm.
They can probably take care of that for it. But, drive shafts are pretty standard, a universal drive shaft. Anyway, so I got down there. I had a heavy load on. I had my flatbed then. It was cold out. He said, drop your trailer over there. We got a place where you drop trailers and then come up, we'll open the door and, come on in. A real nice, young man. And so I dropped my trailer. As I pulled up, he started. And as I come in, there's a hole there. And it started rocking like this. He screamed bloody murder. He was waving his hands. Your cab's falling off. You can't. Oh, he was serious. And I said, no, it's not. He's blankly blank. He said, that thing's falling off. Back, I don't want it in here. I said, well, yeah, it's okay. Trust me. when I raised that up, his eyes kept getting bigger and bigger and bigger. I've never seen anything like that before.
It's definitely cool when the cab is down all the way and
Oh,
then
yeah.
you start seeing the 9000 show up.
Going through the mountains, the first trip, you get used to it. And
Right. So that's normal the way the cab dips.
pretty much so, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And I shouldn't tamper in it. You're trying to tell me that the valve was bad.
No.
No.
Then I left some stuff in the cooler.
Right. You had some covers in. I still got the little green toolbox in there.
Oh, okay.
Does the toolbox match the truck? It's green.
Green.
No?
I think it
No?
does.
I think it does. Here's the toolbox.
Huh? I paid extra Walmart to get that.
Right. I didn't throw nothing away. I kept it. And I put a few things in it. But
Here.
that's it.
One time I had a dead snake in there.
No, you
See if
didn't. No, you didn't. Don't tell me you had green tape.
Oh, of course.
You got the green tape. I didn't take nothing out of it.
Yeah. Oh, this is great.
Right. Just like you left it.
Yeah.
I promise you, when I talked to you, I said, Mr. Harold, I'm going to keep it
Yeah.
the way, and you're welcome. You're welcome to come up here and drive it.
Well, where do you live at?
I stay in Cleveland.
Oh, you're in Cleveland.
Yep.
Okay. Well,
Yep.
you said you worked with Valley then?
No, I buy trucks from Valley for the city. I work for the city. Of Cleveland.
Oh.
Right.
You drive that around the city, you have everybody following you.
Oh, yeah. Well, you get a lot of conversation. But
Yeah.
see, I told them, I said, that's Mr. Harold's truck. I'm just keeping it up for him. That's all I'm doing. That's it.
Well,
So you've been talked about a lot today. We've been
no
talking about
wonder
you.
I'm warm then.
Yeah.
Everybody wanted me to take the bumper off and put an original bumper on there, and I told them no. I like the square lights. I like that you had that made. So the only thing I'm gonna do with that, Mr. Harold, is I got a guy I'm gonna take it off. I'm gonna dip it and make it chrome, if that's all right with you.
No, it's not.
No,
That bumper.
I'm gonna keep the bumper. I'm just gonna chrome it.
Okay.
You don't think you like the chrome fancy?
I had 2 chrome bumpers on that.
Where they at now?
Their junkyard.
Oh, Jesus.
Well, what happened? They always had a notch where the grill was at for the hood to come down, and it made it weak right there.
You had that bumper made.
I didn't make it. I designed it how I want. I knew exactly because there was some stuff you got to fit up under behind it,
Mm-hmm.
and so I could put it up higher. I wanted it up a little higher, and I wanted it sticking out 2 inches, and just preference for me. Plus, I could stay, in a snowstorm or you get something like that. It'll break the thickness of the snow before it hits the grill.
Because you ran out west a lot, right?
Oh, yeah.
Year
back and
round?
forth. Yeah. Yeah.
He told me, he said
yeah,
that truck
and
is
he
ready
did
to
too.
go.
We'd follow one another a lot of times.
And you hold fruit?
Onions come back
Onions.
to Tiffin, Ohio.
Okay.
Yeah, 50,000 pounds. Actually, 49,880, if I remember right.
And you couldn't have hauled so much if you had dual stacks.
No, that's right.
That would have been 300 pounds heavier,
Yeah.
man. He was like, man.
Plus the singles on it. And I really debated a long time.
That was for weight too?
Yeah. They're a lot lighter. And between the truck and I had a van trailer at the time, between all of it, I'll say it saved me 800 pounds. So actually between that and the muffler and a couple other things, I probably figured I saved about 1,000 pounds.
But you put the longer fuel tanks on there.
Well,
You had them fuel tanks made.
oh yeah.
Yeah.
They make them up just on the Illinois-Wisconsin line.
Aluminum tank.
Aluminum tank, yeah. up
So that's
there.
aluminum tank underneath that paint.
Yeah. But the tanks look great. Did you do that or did somebody really work them out? My tanks, I didn't take it. I'm really wound up now.
Well, now that you see the old girl and you're still saying it's looking just as good as it was.
It
when
looks
you-
better, man. It looks better.
all I did was just rub on it a little bit, and that was it.
looks good.
Oh, it really does.
Black-
I think
I haven't even polished the front wheels yet.
Oh, the black looks good on it.
Yeah.
Man.
The black does look good.
no,
on it.
I usually
Now that I looked at it,
on that corner there was a hole in it. You see where the downspout is?
mm-hmm.
Or anyway, just ahead of that. One night we was working on we had the cab up. Ram was leaking on that side. So anyway, the guy that helped me on it, he'd do it at nights after work. I known him for years. Real nice gentleman. But it was getting late. Rex, how late you want to work? Well, he said, my wife's got supper ready. Well, I said, I'm just going home. I said, let's order the cab. Oh, it'll be okay. And I got home. I lived about 12, 15 miles from him. Anyway, just sit down to my supper. Phone rang. Rex, he says, Harold? I said, yes. You sit down? Yes.
Mm-mm.
He said,
I don't like them
my
phone calls.
daughter was out feeding the chickens.
Huh.
A big wind coming along and blew that cab over, pulled it out of those big arms on that side and laid it right down on that fuel tank. Punched a hole in it. And I didn't know what to do. He didn't know what to do for sure. I said, well, as soon as I finish with supper, I'll be over. I don't care what time he said. Just get over here. You got to do something. Because all the pressure was on it. And what happened with that cab being up, them rams over there, there's a big arm down through there, and it's got 4 bolts in it. And it blew hard enough, it pulled those bolts right out of the,
right out of the threads.
Yeah, right out of the threads. And we didn't know what to do. So he called his farmer friend down the road. He come down and had 3 jacks. And I wanted to get it off fuel tanks. And anyway, long story short, we kept working and kept working. His daytime job is a school teacher, teaches welding.
Okay.
To the students, which I was really glad to see. But he said, Harold, I'll take it into the machine shop. And he said, I'll re-drill those, re-thread them. I said, you don't have to do it tonight. No, he said, we got to do it tonight. I said, well, okay, I'm going to go back home and you call me when you're ready to, it was in Kendallville. But anyway, he said, I got it. No, I called him. He says, I got it. Well, good. I said, you're putting it in? He said, Harold, I got it. It's done.
The truck is already, the bolts extracted and the arm is back on the truck.
But you got to know this guy. Phil knows him. He's just one of those guys that he grew up with welding dust on him. I mean, he just,
one of them good guys.
He put whatever size it was, he oversized it.
Okay.
But
stepped it up to the next size.
Yeah, but then we had to get it. As you notice, the back of the cab sits in a cradle. There's a big mechanism there, one on each side. But we couldn't get it up onto that. So this farmer, he said, he got a long board. Anyway, he got underneath it with a jack, and he could lift this corner up. And I had that button, and then I would just flip it, and that cab would keep moving over. See, to get up on these pedestals on both sides. Got it over there, dropped into place. So that was something. Something else I want to tell you: those headlights, by the gracious of him, are LEDs, and they've got heat in them. Now, when you get in a snowstorm with it, the heat will keep the ice and snow off them headlights.
Right.
So, and it does it on, it does on, you got a thermostat in there.
But this truck is retired now, right? So hopefully it doesn't see any more snowstorms.
Well, I'll bet he'll start pulling it next week.
He's going to start hauling fruit to Washington.
Yeah.
No, it's actually been sitting in the garage. I bought it in November, cleaned it up, took it to the Piston Power Show. It's been parked ever since.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. I filled up them fuel tanks, topped them off.
Oh, you did?
Yes, sir.
So if it's been parked that long, it went to one show. How often did you drive it when you were working this truck?
Basically, when I hit 1,000 mile on it, I just because of the weather, basically, when the coldest I've been in was at Grand Forks, North Dakota. I was up there. That was with the other truck. That was with my diamond reel. Come think about it.
You had a diamond reel?
39, yeah, and 72. I completely rebuilt. But it got so cold up there when I took the tarps off the load, and I left Phoenix, Arizona.
Oh, geez.
68 degrees, and I left that evening. 2.5 days later, I got up there, and there's no wind. It was just plain 39 below zero. And those guys had to come and help me take my tarps off. They just come off like plywood, So they took them in the shop. And, of course, made a mess. They had to thaw out so I could roll them up, see. And, boy, when I left there, I said goodbye. Then I was up there one other time. My wife was with me. but it was in summertime, beautiful then.
Oh yeah.
And you just recently retired, right?
Well, actually, about a year and a half ago, I fell real hard, and like I said, I ruined my right arm and went through all the doctors. I don't know how many times I've been in the hospital, but I seen the handwriting. Well, when I fell, it was on a Monday. I just got back. The same people had a plant in Albany, Georgia, and I hauled for them down there, Crescent, North Dakota, just for these one people. And I hauled direct. See, I had my own authority. See, just like Phil does here. When I fell, I could get in the truck, but I just had no. I was still pretty
No
strong
strength.
because you put your left foot in
That's right.
and your right foot up.
Right.
And then, yeah,
That's right.
But then I had to use my right hand to get a hold of the grab bar to get me on up, and then those handles, on the inside of the cab there, the black handles.
Right.
In fact, Phil got them for me out of a junkyard, and I could grab hold of that because usually everybody grabbed hold. They've been grabbing hold of that steering wheel so long, it was bent just a little bit.
Right. That's what most truckers do. They
Yeah.
grab that steering wheel, reach up, first thing.
So you trucked till you were 85?
Yeah, when I retired, yeah.
And you have a birthday next month?
Yeah. I'm
very impressive.
trying to slow them down.
You trying to slow down?
Yeah. No, the birthdays.
Oh, slow. Yeah, birthdays come and go. Right.
Have you used the air conditioning in it?
I've used it the first time today.
Oh, well, yeah, okay.
I was going to ask you what is in there.
It's the newer style. It's the new.
134.
I'm thinking 134.
Yeah,
That's the last newest.
It is okay. Yeah. Now it's a red dot. There was supposed to be a big red booklet in there, a blue book, that have a lot of the descriptions of things of the truck that I've done.
If it was in there, then I have it.
You got it?
I should have it.
Okay. I laid it out on purpose so people would see it, but I kept it in the cabinet, behind me where I kept it. But it's got a diagram in there, the wiring and
Right, the gauges. I like the
they
gauges.
come out of Nevada. I got all of them in there, each individual gauge. I was up in Michigan. I hauled for a lot of these people. They was making structural I-beams for buildings, and I was trying to have them a flatbed. And they had a driver, and they were supposed to take a load over to it was west of Detroit. They was a fruit outfit, big. They're big all over. Anyway, Joey called me and said, Harold, Jack's not feeling good. The trailer's loaded. He said, we got to get it over there. It's Union, and they want it by Monday morning. And I said, well, yeah, I'll take it over. So I bobtailed over and hooked it up and took off. Anyway, I beat it up there. Me and Union, I knew when 4 o'clock come, they'd leave. Dark on Friday. But anyway, I shouldn't say that. But anyway, I got there and they got me unloaded. Traffic was heavy coming out of Detroit. And at that time, Michigan was 55 for trucks and 65 for cars. The most deadliest thing you could ever have.
Yep.
So I'm coming off of 94, and I wanted to come down 23, which is a 4-lane highway. So I was running with traffic. So anyway, I put my turn signal on to come down around the ramp, and I trumped on it to blend in the traffic. An empty trailer, flatbed, everybody can see it. And I look in the mirror and I see a van's past me. Well, no big deal, And he seen me, he's coming out. And pretty soon he hit his brake lights. I went out one. Then he took off. And here was a DOT trooper behind him. And he stopped me. I knew it was DOT. So he come over on the passenger side. Of course, truck's up high. And when I I watched him in my mirror walk around, and I said, this is a new DOT guy. His pant leg was in his boot. He was sticking all out. Yeah, I knew. You're speeding coming down here. I said, I won't deny it. I said, you know what traffic is? I said, I wasn't going to run anybody off the road. I wanted to flow right in the traffic. And I said, you was over speeding. You weren't supposed to do 55. I said, listen, Sonny, I'm telling you, if you're a DOT guy, you got to understand some of the truck, what we got to do out here. So anyway, he wanted my driver's license to give it to him. You know what he done with it? put in your shirt
I
pocket.
just took some.
And I said, no, wait a minute. No, he said,
Hey,
you.
Miss Angie.
He said, you wait a minute. He said, you got $100 bill on it. I said, well, I do.
Previous owner.
He said,
What was the odds?
if you give me that $100 bill,
That
I'll
owned
give
the
you your
truck?
driver's license back. If not, it's going right out of the picture.
He bribed you?
No,
We did
no,
not.
I thought he was.
This was not a hookup.
And
I had
but
no
anyway,
idea that he was going to be
I was
here.
really
He had
upset.
No idea I was going
So
to be here.
my
We
court
barely
dates
talked
was
on the
like
telephone,
3 or
and that
4
was
weeks
it.
later or whatever. I had to go to
And
Michigan.
here,
And I couldn't find the right judge. They had 5 judges in this building. So it was my wife and I sit down. I look up and there was a clock there. My appointment was 3 o'clock. DOT guy, if he didn't get there by 3, they throw the case out. At 1 minute to 3, you walked in. So long story short, if I can, my case come up, and I wrote the judge a letter stating this was the situation, you know, and he says I didn't read it. I'll let the DOT guy read it. So he read it and everything, and he looked up, and I had paper law. You got 2 hours to bring it up to date. And really, I had it pretty close, but it wasn't right on. So they dropped a speeding ticket, and he gave me a ticket for I didn't want to put a speeding ticket, so they just give me a logbook violation.
She works with trying to get more.
Oh my god.
Yeah, over driving.
Never drive in Michigan again.
Yeah. The fine come to $98.50. I did get change back. And I noticed this car followed me. I figured, well, they're going into where the car's supposed to go. Well, as I pull up the fuel island, I see it go out in the truck parking lot. So I always fill up this tank first, because it'll shut off when it hits. And I will stand on the other side, put fuel in my other tank. And I seen that car parked, come right up within about 6 feet of the cab. Something must have fell off the trailer or blew a tire or something. So as I come around, she said, "Is that your truck?" And I said, "Well, yes." I said, "I seen you follow me in." She said, "I heard you coming down the hill, and you had your Jake brakes on." And he said, "That sounds so beautiful." I text my husband. And then when I see the truck, she said, "Could I take a couple pictures of that?" I said, charge you $5 a picture. She looked at me and her jaw dropped, and of course I was just putting her on. But anyway, I went around to finish the top of my other side off. And as I come around, I thought she had somebody with her. Here was a nice, big, slick police dog sitting right in the driver's center. But I thought, well, she's safe. But anyway, she wanted a picture of my truck.
She followed you just to tell you she
liked
you?
Just to tell me that. You may want to check the water in the radiator. You know, when a truck sits along, they get the hoses get with a cold drip.
Right.
But didn't mean to interrupt you.
No. I just wanted to get an idea. I had motor coach buses, so I had 12.7. This is a 14 liter, right? That's a 12.7 in there, not a 14.
No, yeah, right.
Set at what? 500.
The steering column was down through the floor. Oh, about that high up. There's a 3/8 hole in it. You can see it. You want to keep oil in that.
Oil?
Yeah. What it does, some of these parts we couldn't get, so we made it. Bearing went out at the bottom of the steering column, where it hooked onto the other joint.
So where is this? Is this inside the cab?
Inside the cab. I knew the bearing was out, and it was going out, and once in a while I turn a corner, you know, usually your steering wheel will come back.
Right.
Sometimes it would kind of click. I knew I had a Harvey bearing problem. I tried to find a bearing, and I couldn't find one on the friends of mine on the internet that's in the trucks all the time. And so we got quite a machine shop. If you looked at it, you drive right by it. But the old guys are still in there, like me. So it's still in there. Anyway, I stopped and seen Bill one day, and I called him. I said, I got a bearing that I can't find that goes in the bottom of the steering column. And I said, Harold, let me look around. You know, they could see everything, you know. But he said, oh, I can't find one. He said, I got stuff that I can get, some kind of composite that's space ready. Never wear out. And I said, no, wait a minute, Bill. this bearing about the size of the silver dollar. Go make it everyone size it. He said, I don't have any stock, but I'll call the people of Fort Wayne and order a stick of it. I had to buy it by a stick. Well, I said, I only need to know. He said, that stick is 13 inches. And so I went down and paid for it. It cost, I think, $5 each. And so they cut off what they need. They took dimensions and they turned one out exactly and fit it in there. And he said, now you'll never have to oil it. Well, I said, to me, oil is the cheapest thing you do. Greasing is the cheapest thing you can do. And I said, I want a hole drilled up there so I can just put some, I use the same as a crankcase. Yeah, on a squirt can.
Right.
Yeah. And, but now it'll leak out, which I wanted to, see a little spot on the ground, just inside of the white wheel. So that's not plugged in there. They didn't put any grooves in it. They said, I don't think we have to. And, but it'll make a little mess on the floor that I haven't done for quite a while. The column's just going down.
Steering column.
Steering
Right.
column. Steering
Right.
column.
Right.
It's right on the back side. You went in,
Oh.
over there, and it's right at eye level.
Oh,
You'll see a little hole in the steering column.
sure enough. There it is.
You found it. You found it?
There it is.
Even the interiors.
You can adjust it. It's got a leveling valve in it, but it's really, really touchy. I had it adjusted right at 98. I could tell it's too much air. So I think it's set at 95, I remember right. It's got a gauge on it, and you can build your air up, and then you'll play with it.
What, down, up underneath?
Yeah, you see where it says cab, airline cab there, behind cab? There's a little valve fastened to a bracket there. It's not very big, and run the line out of that. And
Is that on the driver's side or passenger
it's
side?
on the driver's side.
On the driver's side.
Yeah. Now, did they tell you that don't raise that over 40 degrees?
Right, you told me that.
Did I tell you that? Okay.
I haven't had the cab up
Get
yet.
to the stoplight, and he'd sit there, he'd raise the cab up, go back down, and he'd take off.
That's with that little remote.
Yeah, it's hanging inside the door jamb.
Actually, I took it out. It's sitting in my car.
Oh.
Yeah. Well, when I was taking the truck and leaving it down at the IX Center, things like that I took out.
Yeah.
So I didn't leave it in there, and I forgot to bring it. I said, man, God forbid.
Yeah.
Is there any other way to raise that cab up without?
Not now.
Not now. That's what I thought.
First thing I changed was taking that jack off of there.
Right.
And
I looked around on it, and I said, maybe if the remote didn't work, I could still get underneath the cab. And I couldn't see it.
But there's another remote box in the glove box up there. You ever look? It's in a little Tupperware, and that's my spare.
It sure is a good thing you came today.
Yeah. You didn't look in the glove box.
You didn't look in the you always look in the glove box. You'll find all.
Oh, you're talking about the brown box.
Yeah, up on top.
Yes.
Yeah, and it's in a little Tupperware, and a couple times I've had to use it.